What is up, you guys? Brooke here. Prep freaking Tober is here. It is October now, which means that NaNoWriMo is coming up very, very soon. Preptober is a wonderful month for the writers of the world if we are participating in NaNoWriMo, and that is what we are going to be targeting this month of October. Not only Halloween-y things like my Nightmare Before Christmas background, but, and also my little pumpkin. Look at this little dude. Isn't he the best looking pumpkin ever? I mean, he's like as round as the moon. I want to name him something cute like Barry, even though he's not a berry, he's a pumpkin. But Barry just seems to fit him, like Barry. That just fits to me for some reason. Not only will little Barry here hang out with me throughout the rest of this month of October, but I will be prepping for my novel that I will be writing in NaNoWriMo November time. And you all are probably curious what I am doing for NaNoWriMo. You might have some ideas, but maybe you don't know exactly what I'm up to. Well, that's what I'm here today to go over with you, is what are my wacky plans for NaNoWriMo. And if you've been following me for a while, you will probably know that I am currently working on a paranormal book that takes place in 1920s New Orleans that I am temporarily calling Project New Orleans right now. If you're wondering if I'm doing that this upcoming NaNoWriMo, you would be right. But I am doing something that I wasn't expecting to do. Just recently, I started thinking about this video and going over with you guys of what I was going to be up to during NaNoWriMo, what I was going to be working on. Some people asked if I was going to be working on something new because I had worked on Project New Orleans last year. People were curious if I was going to be having a new project to work on or if I was going to be a NaNoRebel and do this again. And I will say that I will be a NaNoRebel, but I will be writing kinda-ish a new book-ish. Let me explain. So whenever I had written Project New Orleans and NaNoWriMo last year, I kinda had an outline, but it wasn't very good. And I kinda pantsed it with having an outline that wasn't very good. I had written an outline that I had just done like the beats from the Save the Cat Writes a Novel beat sheet formula. I had followed the beats and I had come up with the novel idea, and that novel idea went in a direction that I wasn't excited for it to go in. After NaNoWriMo, I had done another outline for this book, and I like this outline better. I like the story structure of it all. I like the character arcs in it better. And also, it kind of goes into a series format better too. So lately, I have been following the outline for this new outline that I had done a few months back. It wasn't a few months back. It was actually several months back. But I would tweak the outline here and there to adjust new things that had popped into my head, or to adjust things that just didn't make sense. It made sense at the time, but with new things that pop into your head, things change. Your outlines will, for the most part, always change after you have written it. Not saying that's always going to be the case, but for the majority of people, the outlines never stay the same. Can my voice get any higher than that? Maybe? I don't know. Let me stop annoying you guys. I'm talking a normal voice now. So let me do a rewind here. I had done NaNoWriMo last year with an outline, rewrote an outline several months later, started kind of following the format of that new outline, and that made it to where lots of the scenes and chapters that I had written for NaNoWriMo kind of weren't really relevant anymore and needed to be scratched. And also another thing that jumps into the equation of it all is I have changed how I'm telling the story. I was writing that book in third person point of view, and now I'm actually writing it in first person point of view, told from different perspectives. It's not just one person telling the story. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. I think right now there's 5. I am telling the story through 5 different POVs. So that's 5 different characters that are having their story being told. It's all being told in present tense too, so there's that. So let me rewind this just real quick again. I had written an outline before NaNoWriMo, then I wrote the book, And then I wrote another outline, started writing new scenes for this new book, and I also started changing the way I was telling the story by using different perspectives and also tense. So everything's, I feel like, a big jumbled mess. And I'm wondering if that's why I had kind of been like not so excited to write, because I knew that like everything was just a jumbled mess. Everything needed work. And so, yeah, I just kind of wasn't really excited to get back into a book that I knew was like just from the beginning to the end, none of it was cohesive. None of it made sense, because part of it was told in first person, part of it was told in third person, part of it's told in past tense, part of it's told in present tense. Oh my gosh. So what I've decided to do is to continue working on Project New Orleans. I'm still going to be working on this story, so that means I'm a NaNoWriMo rebel, but I've decided to be rewriting this book kind of somewhat from scratch. Yeah, daunting task. I know. I'm rewriting a lot of this because lots of the stuff that I currently have for this book are not usable. They're not usable in the way of that they don't work with my outline, or they don't work because it's being told in another character's perspective in a different tense, and it just will be hell to edit. So why not just rewrite the dang thing? I'm going to rewrite it now in the way I know now I am wanting to write it in. And at first it was kind of scary to think about doing, but now that I've like thought about it over and over, I'm just kind of like, you know what? I feel like this makes sense. The first draft I had done of this book, I had kind of already decided that this was a 0 draft for me, because I knew it wasn't anywhere near like good enough to be called a first draft, even though typically first drafts are crap in general. But my 0 draft, it was just like perfectly garbage. I just want to write the book that I want to be going by my new outline that I have, an outline that I feel like is a lot more solid and well put together than the original outline that I had for this book. The original outline that I had for this book, there was still lots of things that I had left open and left as question marks, where I just figured, oh, I'll fill that in later. I didn't have everything figured out, and I feel like I have maybe more so 85 to 90% of things already worked out. I left a little room for some openness, just so that way I still have a little bit of fun with this story, to where I'm not knowing every single turn, but that I am still going to steer away from the cliff that my car might have like gone off into a ravine or something. So yeah, that's the plan for NaNoWriMo. I will be working on my book that I have currently been working on for like over almost 2 years. Dear sweet goodness. This is why I feel like outlining should be a thing for me. It used to not be a thing for me, but now I see that that was bad news not to have an outline, not to have something to go by. Not everyone needs to have an outline, and I thought I was one of those people that did not need to have one, but now I see that I do. I need to have some type of organization with my story, and now that I have that now, I do have an outline now. It does need a little bit of tweaking before NaNoWriMo, just so that way I'm completely set on exactly everything that I'm wanting to go down. I also plan to outline my book 2 for Project New Orleans before NaNoWriMo, so that way I'm able to adjust the book 1 outline for Project New Orleans, and I need to outline the second book first before I'm able to really wrap up the first one. So at least I can have the second book's outline done before I am able to finish writing the first book. So this sounds so weird to talk about writing the first book, because I feel like I've already written it, but there are so many new things I'm wanting to include. It just doesn't make sense to keep going with editing and rewriting new scenes for this book that has a whole lot of chapters in there that don't make sense with what I have in my head and with my outline. I hope this all makes sense. I'm sure it does. I just hope that I'm telling it and explaining it to you all, okay? That's my big, huge plan for NaNoWriMo, is to be a NaNoWriMo rebel, but to also be writing something new, kinda. I hope this was easy to follow through with, and I hope you all are going to have a fantastic NaNoWriMo as well, and also a fantastic Preptober, because I will be coming up with new Preptober vlogs. I'm excited to be watching other people's Preptober videos because it's always so cool to see what all other people are doing, how they're planning ahead, and how I can learn from them, and also just the community camaraderie. The community camaraderie, that's the word I was going for. I just love this time of year. I'm so excited to see what all comes of it, with triumphs, some struggles along the way too, but also just the sense of togetherness with other writers and the whole community. Let me know down below what type of book you'll be working on for NaNoWriMo. Let me know the genre if you'd like, or if this is going to be the first in a series or a standalone or a sequel, whatever. I'm just excited to see everybody hard at work for the rest of this autumn time. If you liked this video, feel free to give me a big thumbs up below. I would really appreciate it. And also don't forget to subscribe because I post writing related content every week here on my channel. Thank you all so much for stopping by today. Happy Preptober, you guys, and may the spooky spirits be with you. Bye.